Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar. I'm Sherri Johnson with Sherri Johnson Coaching and Consulting, and this RISmedia webinar is being brought to you by Ace Social and Sherri Johnson Coaching. We are so excited to bring this awesome broker panel to you this morning. We've got amazing guests and we have an awesome topic. We're going to be talking about increasing top line revenue through attracting talent and coaching your agents for greater success. The panelists that we have today are just next to, I mean, they are unbelievable. They've got skills, they've got secrets to success that they've used to help grow their operations. And I'm excited to introduce them. And I'm going to start, actually, I will start with Carolyn Rawson. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Sherri.
Carolyn is Vice President of Brokerage. She's been with Ebby Halliday Companies in the Dallas, Texas market, which is one of the top 10 companies in the country, an unbelievable success story of Ebby Halliday. Carolyn is responsible for managing one of the top offices in the entire company, the top office in Ebby Halliday, as well as 15 additional offices in her region. Carolyn is telling me this year so far, the one office has succeeded over 900 units and over 500 million in sales volume with an average sale price of $600,000. That's in South Lake, Texas, right, Carolyn?
That is correct.
And you've been with the company a long time. You've got a
long
really
time.
amazing story. Yeah. I mean, you started when you were 10, so 35 years or more. I mean, you've got a really great success story. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be with everyone.
Absolutely. And next, Anthony Lamacchia, who has built an unbelievable company in Boston, Massachusetts, and has really gained so much in the last 11 years. He's going to tell us how he's gone to over $1 billion in sales, how his company, you have over 330 agents, I believe, right? And you have an awesome Crush It in Real Estate national coaching program that has helped your agents as well as agents around the country. And Anthony, thanks for being here. You have so much to share with everybody. How many offices do you have?
We have 9 branch offices, and I'm here in headquarters. Thank you for having me, and thank RISMedia for having me. I'm very excited to be here with such an amazing group. I feel honored.
This panel has passion and success that is totally, crazily, outrageously contagious. So it's going to be a lot of fun to have you. Thank you. And last but not least is Dava Davin from Portside, Maine, Portside Real Estate Group in Maine. And I'm going to tell you that I met Dava probably 2 years ago. She was trying to grow her company. Since I've talked to her, the last I talked to her, we got to see each other at an event actually in New York City last year. Today, she's telling me unbelievable statistics. In fact, you have grown your operation to over 100 agents. You have 5 offices. You've actually brought in, I want to get this right, you have 5 offices in Maine, the 5th largest real estate agency in Maine for sales volume. Dave is the sole owner and has done all of this unbelievably, the largest female-owned real estate company in Maine and one of the top in the country. And also founder of Portside Foundation, which generates over $75,000 annually to nonprofits in Maine. It's unbelievable. And recently in 2020, Dava was named one of Housing Wire's Women of Influence. CEO and founder of Portside Real Estate Group, Dava Davin, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for that awesome introduction. I have to say, when I got the invite to do this, I was like, oh, Sherri Johnson, I'm so in. You are just one of my heroes in the industry. So such a pleasure to be here, and especially with my friends Anthony and Carolyn. This is going to be great. I cannot wait to learn from you three.
It's really a pleasure because I swear to goodness, we met through RISmedia. In fact, I met all of you through our connections with RISMedia, to be honest with you. And I've physically been to Ebby Halliday and worked closely side by side with Carolyn and your team, and getting to know Anthony's awesome group. And it's just, you guys are going to add so much value today. I can't wait to get started. So the conversation we're having today is really about how do we intentionally increase revenue, right? How do we increase our operation? Not just say, hey, we had some growth this year, or hey, let's see what we did in the rearview mirror, and say, what did our agents do this month? Or, you know, all three of you I chose to be on this panel because you drive the success. You actually intentionally create more growth, and you do it on purpose. And so today's listeners are wondering, how do I grow? How do I grow on purpose? How do I actually recruit and attract talent? How do I coach and grow the people that already work for me, right? The people that are already on our rosters. How do I develop my sales managers, if I have sales managers, right? And how do I coach my existing agent base to do more? And how do I add value to them so that they stay? And it's a great retention tool. And it's also a great way to create a thriving, successful team of agents that then you can recruit to, because everybody knows how awesome your team is. So those are kind of what we're going to talk about today. How do we get through this pandemic? We'll talk about that for a little bit. But really what I'm interested in conveying to our audience and our listeners today, because they're all here, and let me tell you guys, you're going to get, everyone on this session today is going to get takeaways that you can implement immediately and start getting results from them. So it's kind of like our lineup, and really talking about being intentional and not just wondering, hey, I hope we do this. You know, I hope is not a plan. We all know that. So oftentimes I have this in a huge framed piece of art in my office, and it says, the speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. And you know, all of us in leadership are a direct reflection of our offices. And you know, if I'm excited, they're going to be excited. If I'm engaged, they're going to be engaged. If I'm excited about going out and getting listing appointments, even during the pandemic, they're going to be. So I know all of you have done such a successful job at being a leader. That's again why I chose you to be here. And how do we translate some of that so that people listening to this can really learn and benefit from your generosity of sharing with you? So the first category is going to be, you know, how did you grow and what things did you do on purpose? So I'm just going to start with the first question is, how have you grown your organization? All of you have mostly done it organically, which is hats off to you, right? You didn't go buy companies. You actually did it the hard way. You grew organically. What has been your primary focus for strategic growth, and how do you measure those KPIs, your key performance indicators? And I'm going to start with Anthony on this. Anthony, talk to us about how you've leveraged this growth over the last 10 or 11 years and what your growth plan is for the future.
Well, we were always very heavy on marketing and advertising, and that's kind of what I did with my dad as a kid, growing his business. So we just advertised more, learn how to convert better and all that. But about 5 years ago, I realized, and I'm somewhat embarrassed to admit that it took until 5 years ago or 6 years ago that I realized I need to recruit a lot more. And it took me till 3 years ago, 2017, to really learn the art of recruiting. And that is what really took us off. So when you take aggressive advertising and different training and things like that help grow an organization, and then you recruit masses of people in. So instead of teaching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people how to do it, you're teaching 30, 40, 50 at a time, now hundreds. Wow, you can grow a lot faster. And that is really the key ingredient to this business. And I wish I learned it years back, and you know, hindsight's 20/20, but we definitely have our recruiting down. And this year we will bring on probably 180 new realtors into the company. And that is really what has set us apart and gotten us so that we can scale at the rate that we are. You have to be on offense. You have to be on offense. You have to be making dials. Carolyn's shaking her head. She's thinking, if I met you 10 years ago, I would have told you that 10 years ago, pal. But I feel like I was worried about too many other things. And then when I finally got it down, by then I had a lot of the sales things, the training, the marketing and advertising down. Once we got the recruiting right, we grew a lot, and now it's accelerating.
That is outstanding. That is true. You know, top line revenue. We always hear recruiting solves everything, and it also doesn't solve everything. It exponentially grows your organization. You're proof positive that that has happened. That is just fantastic. Congratulations. And it takes a few years, right, to figure out all the people and the moving parts. And as you mentioned, you're continuing this growth, and the scalability of it is just amazing. Dava, tell us what has been your main focus because I know you had these goals a couple of years ago when we first met, and tell us what you did to actually make all of this happen and become a reality.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, Anthony, you're just a machine. So amazing to watch your growth. We're not too far from each other, so I can keep an eye on him. I think for us, if I had to put a finger on, what is the strongest reason for our success and our growth, and for us, I think that Carolyn's probably going to say the same thing. It's really culture, and like our culture is so strong that people can't even describe it. It's sort of like people have described it as a movement. So that's the biggest value that we can offer, is a supportive, a safe environment that's collaborative, not only, staff to agents, but agents to agents. So, it's a place where they're gonna, where friendships are born. It's bigger than selling houses. And I think it's almost like, a stone rolling, gathering moss. That's just sort of how it happened. This culture is so strong. And really just, I love that slide about, the pace is set by the leader. And I think the leadership really believing in the agents, believing their potential is bigger than they even imagined. They just want to be part of it, and they want to be better. And with that, it's been able to attract other like-minded agents. We are, everyone has different strengths, and in our company, we're discerning with our agents. They have to be full-time, they have to have a commitment, there's minimum standards, so they can't stay if they're not meeting them. So we're looking for a certain kind of agent. So it's not to be like elitist, but it's a big deal to come to Portside and be part of what we're doing.
That's awesome. And it sounds like, you said so many fantastic things. I was frantically writing them down. It's so strong. It's like a movement. It's like everybody wants to be a part of that, and it's attracting people. It's bigger than just selling houses. It's where people work, live, play, and they are a part of something, it sounds like. They also have minimum standards. Wow, that's so refreshing to hear. We're here to work, and we love that you have other whatever, but it's like you're selective and you're quality over quantity, it sounds like, which is.
Yeah, I feel like we're only as good as the next hire. So if someone isn't going to come and bring value to the people that we already adore and love, then it isn't worth the growth. And we can do it slower, and we can do it more strategically. We have a very low churn rate. We have virtually, no turnover unless people are leaving the business or whatnot. So that really, it's so important to keep that. And the mindset really of the agents is they just want to be better today than they were yesterday, and if we're all thinking that and doing that like as a unit, just what a better world, this is going to be.
And you're the one setting the tone for that. So it's paying off. I love it. It's great. It's really fantastic. And you said culture, and that's, culture is number one for all of these great success stories time and time again. Carolyn, tell us what you're doing, because you've had tremendous growth in this office, and I know that you personally were invested in making that happen. So tell us about the success you've had, and what was the driving force behind it?
Well, Sherri, it's so exciting to be on this panel with Anthony and Dava, and I have been furiously taking notes myself. So the first thing to know for everyone on this call, regardless of how successful you are as a leader, there are always new things to learn. And so I'm just honored to be on this panel with Sherri, you leading the way, You made an incredible impact in our company, and we are so grateful to that. And then David and Anthony, if I can just follow in your shoes, I would be delighted. The culture, that's one of the things that I know if you interviewed Anthony and David and you interviewed their agents, it would be culture. And everybody wants to be a part of something that is special. And so recruiting needs to be intentional and it needs to be specific. So an agent needs to fit into the culture. One of the things I say when I interview agents is that if you are not excited about building a really great career, this is not the office for you, because everyone here is committed to building a great business. So culture is important. The other thing, Sherri, that I have been so blessed with is that I have incredibly happy agents who are highly productive. And guess what? When you have happy and productive agents, all the other agents in town are going, what's going on over there? We need to be a part of that. And so your agents who are happy are recruiting for you every single day. So that is another thing. And then recruiting needs to be a part of your wildly important goals. That is something that our company has across the board. Is recruiting is at the top of our wigs for all of our sales leaders. And to David's point, it's an intentional recruiting. Not every recruit is going to be perfect for your office, but the opportunity to have that one-on-one with the recruit is important.
That is so true. And first of all, you said happy and productive agents, right? Create a flywheel, if you will, from good to great, where people across the street and down the street are thinking, what is going on over there? And almost to the point of really, it's that big. It's that culture that's coming across. People know that your agents, all three of you, have agents that are at a company that they love. They're connected to it. It shows, and they're happy. Yes, Anthony.
Let me add a comment. I'm so glad David brought up culture, because we had a recruiting meeting last week with a top agent here in Massachusetts. That's about as much as I'll explain who it was. And we showed this person this fancy thing and that fancy thing and all these things that we know they need because they express needing. When we were done, I said, what did you like most? What's most interesting to you? And this person literally looked at me over the Zoom and said, well, I need a lot of that, but honestly, what attracts me most and the reason I agreed to this meeting today is your culture. I've been looking over saying, could everyone really be that happy there? And I'm like this, and I was happy, don't get me wrong, but I said to myself, look at that. This fancy, that fancy thing, this technology, that, and what did she say? The number one thing that made her look over and say, I'll take the meeting, I might want to be there, is culture. Literally word for word. This happened 6-7 days ago. So it's important.
That's awesome. Anthony, I think too, for the viewers listening, that happy and productive agent line that Carolyn said that I also wrote down, I think it's really important to remember when you are attracting those agents from other agencies that you are loving on them from before they even join. We have like really beautiful like welcome kits and really great training and sort of the process that we care for them before they join, and then when they do and people are calling, why did you make the switch? You're a top producer, and then they can share this, and so you usually can get a nice chain reaction to those recruits when they come on. It's the most, we want to love on them forever, but in that beginning they're getting more attention than they did at 5-10 years at their previous company, and that's just really helpful to bring their friends over as well.
I think that's we could talk all about how we set and create and continue culture. It is so important. Every time I consult with companies and they have poor culture, right? They've got negativity, toxicity. The management team is not in the game. People are not happy, and it just permeates. And when you see a culture that's thriving and a culture where the leadership is leading, not only by example, but by love and empathy and support, it's a recipe for total success. So I love it. I absolutely love it. Our next question, because a lot of people today are thinking, how do strong companies make it through tough times? How do we get through when there are major distractors? Currently, the one we've just been through in the last 9 months. I know all of you, from talking to you, had a quick responsive shift in how you delivered support, how you delivered services to the consumer. But let's talk about how did we, what did you do quickly? And then what have you kept doing as a result of the virtual solutions that we've all jumped into, and some will stay. Of course, some of these are here to stay, thank goodness, because I think we need them. But also the questions I have are, did you increase things? Do you have more training still online? Do you have still more communication? Has the frequency changed? Has it gone down? Has it increased? And what are the results? And what would you like to share with us? Carolyn, I'll start with you.
Perfect. So Sherri, one of the things that's happened with our virtual meetings is increased participation, because now your top agents who have always been on an appointment during sales meeting, right? They can log in the car while they're driving. So we've had increased activity and increased participation. And let me say, just what you said, that piece is never going to go away. They're going to have an expectation. Our agents going forward are going to have an expectation that we as leaders are going to be present and communicating with them just as we have been. The other thing is that I'm really proud of our team is that they are having sales meetings, but they're also having coaching sessions, which are a smaller group. And the great thing about having those coaching sessions, a smaller group, you have more questions. In my office, what I've seen is we have new agents, and during this time period when we are not able to be face-to-face with our agents, it's the newer agents launching their business who are really, it's important we keep them close, right? Keep them close to the vest. We want them to continue to be linked to us as their leader. And so those smaller group sessions with both experienced and brand new agents have been invaluable to our team. And so I think that's incredibly important. I think content is incredibly important. If you have a boring meeting, no one's going to show up, or they'll show up one time and then no more. And so we really encourage our sales leaders, and I think they do a yeoman's job of having great content. We have some consistent content that comes from the home office that are updates and things, but we tell our sales leaders, that's just the cherry on the top. You've got to be the meat of the program. You've got to bring something of value to your team. And communication and skills and those things that drive sales, very, very important during this time period.
Awesome. And it is, we are feeding them the exact thing they're going to tell consumers, what we believe and what we present to them, right? To help them sort of not listen to the news, maybe get more focused on our positive success that's happening in our marketplaces. Multiple offers, helping the agents know exactly what to say to the consumer. Anthony, I know you did a lot. I'd like to segue to the things you did to help, because you had 77,000 views or something crazy. You put together a video to help people, and then you've been leading that effort ever since. So tell us about that.
Well, when COVID hit and everyone was freaking out and not knowing what to do and realtors were looking for direction, I just started going on our Crush It in Real Estate page every Wednesday. I want to say it was at 10 a.m. and providing updates to realtors. In our state here in Massachusetts, we were shut down. Then realtors were essential. Then we weren't. I mean, things were changing by the minute. And I started going over updates that were state specific. Then I started realizing, wait a second, there's people out of the state. Then I started realizing people all over the country were watching, and I just elaborated on my updates. In the very beginning, it was like 2 or 3 times a week. Then I switched to weekly. Then I switched to every other week. And now they're just, you know, periodic. In addition to that, on our Lamakia Realty Facebook page, I did a segment every Monday, and I would go over what was going on in the market, how inventory was flowing, how pendings were flowing. And that was the one that you're talking about when I did a segment right at the end of March when I said, this is not 2008, housing's not going to crash, and here's why. That one went crazy. We got 77,000 views on that. Over 50% of them watched longer than 75% of the video, and the video was 1 hour and 10. It was like crazy, but it showed the thirst from consumers and realtors on, is this 08 again? So just because the title said that, and it just goes to show that if you educate, you attract. And that was all I did. And it obviously grew the audience, and our agents loved it. We had agents at other companies texting our agents saying, you guys are so lucky to get all these updates. I'm getting nothing at my company. And frankly, I was fascinated that our competitors, my competitors, just basically gave me the stage, and I took it.
I love it. I love it. And, you know, it's for you to bring people from all over the country, right? This following is awesome. And I am 100% in agreement with you. What we help them see and feel is what they will then take out to the world and be ambassadors of real estate and spread that good news. And to jump and be ahead of it and be in front of it is so important. Thank you for sharing all of that. It's outstanding. Dava, tell us some things you did, because I know you've got some different things you were doing that have stuck, and I want to hear, let the viewers hear what you did up in your company.
Sure. I just want to say that Anthony was so powerful during that time. He came and graciously spoke to our team as well. I mean, he really was on it in a way that no one else was. So thank you, Anthony. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, Zoom fatigue, you know, we didn't have Zoom fatigue. We had just Zooms all the time. I mean, I think at one point we had a talent show. I mean, we were like just trying so desperately to stay connected. And now I feel like it is Zoom fatigue and frankly, just general life fatigue right now for a lot of people. But as, you know, as things settled in, our market did recover so quickly as soon as showings were allowed that, like Carolyn, we went more now to smaller group meetings, sort of targeted smaller groups, agent-led groups. But for us, the biggest thing with COVID-19 is we are an event-driven company. It is part of our value proposition to the agents and to the consumers. And so when that went out the window, we've had to really, you know, be creative and really quick. I'll give you an example of how this turned into, like you said, things that are going to stay. So in November, we usually have an event called Hops for Habitat. It's at a brewery, and we raise money for Habitat for Humanity. Of course, we can't do that. So we met with the local craft brewer, and they curated a 4-pack of Maine hops, you know, Maine grown hops. So a specialty 4-pack. And we turned it to a Popeye gift. So the agents buy these and give them as a Popeye as a gratitude to their clients. And with that, $20 goes to Habitat for Humanity. So we're getting, you know, the client touch, we're raising the money, we're supporting the small business. So really a win-win. And this is our first week, we've already raised $5,000. The agents just love it because they don't have to think of what they have to do. And it keeps, you know, we've done this event for 5 years. So it just really keeps that part of the connection that we have to the community. And so now I think we can do the event, but we can also do the Popeyes next year and just keep it going. Keep raising money. It'll be great.
Yeah, love it. And you also had something I want to just touch on because you didn't mention it, but the 20-minute training sessions, the flash training.
So yeah, so after all of the Zoom fatigue, and then we're still, you know, we feel like we still need to keep everyone connected. So we do 4 sessions, and we promise there'll be 20 or 30 minutes. So essentially there'll be a topic, whether it's like list to last or, you know, so it'll go for 4 series. We give 4 discussion topics. On Zoom, you can break the agents into breakout rooms. So there'll be 4 or 5. They discuss it amongst themselves, come back and share. I mean, the agents have all the answers. They're already amazing. And now they're just reminding themselves, they're sharing, and then we can bring those ideas to the bigger group. And it's wonderful. And sometimes, you know, the agents will have a topic and they'll be able to lead, you know, if they feel like they're the expert in it. So some growth for them too, to be the presenter as well.
It's great. And to be able to convert what once was a very successful fundraising event and to continue to be able to do that is really amazing. And like you said, it will continue both hopefully in person and the Popeyes next year. So all of these great ideas. And you know, I want to talk, we have some questions I just wanted to answer real quick. This is being recorded. We are recording this for you, and you will have a playback so you can watch it again, because there's so much going on here that you will need to watch it twice, I think. And then some of the questions that are coming up on recruiting, we're going to cover that in our next segment. So I'll save that question, and we're going to segue over to you know, leadership performance growth through attracting talent. And we hear the term a lot, value proposition, right? It's out there. I think very often it can be, and none of us like platitudes. We're all about action on this call, but and results. But when we hear, you know, people really don't understand what value proposition can mean. How do I communicate the value that we bring to you and partner with you, agent, right? How coming to my company, here's the value proposition that you'll get. And I think when people do the me too, and we have this and we already have this and I love where I'm at, no, sometimes it's very hard for managers and broker owners to have a really strong value proposition to be able to get their attention and get them to realize that we're not comparing apples to apples, right? We're comparing, we have a completely different program here. And so I thought I would ask you, and one of our questions is, do you have a recruiting plan? So Sue, thank you for asking that question. And it's one of my questions to all of you is, do you have a written plan with goals for attracting new and experienced agents to your company? What are your top sources for recruiting, and how often are you measuring those results? Is it every quarter? Is it every month? I will start with you, Anthony, if you'd lead us off.
Yeah, no problem. Do we have written recruiting goals? Yes, we do. And we track them continuously. We built our own CRM on the Salesforce platform, and it constantly tracks appointments and leads and all kinds of things. When it says, you know, what are your top sources? You just alluded to what I realized 3 years ago. I used to think that you should lead with, hey, Dava, we're great. Let me tell you all about us. We have this, we have that, we have this, we have that. And I changed it. And I needed to hire a consultant to teach me to do that. And we got the consultant to help all of us, but we changed it to just educating and leading with, hey, tell me about your business. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? You know, we just had an agent who did X, Y, and Z, and they saw a lot of growth. The more you help others grow their business, the more interested they become in your company. The Crush It in Real Estate page is unfortunately not something, I can't tell you that I invented it on my own. I was told by a recruiting coach that I needed to create a page where I could share tips and training tips and all different types of things. And myself and our marketing manager came up with the name, but the concept and the idea, I can't take credit for that. I couldn't believe when I started doing quick videos how impactful it was. So you take someone like Dava or Carolyn, who has a huge following in their areas. If they're doing videos 30 seconds, 2 minutes, hey, do you struggle with this with sellers right now? A lot of price adjustments, blah, blah, blah. Try this, try that, whatever it may be, right? All of a sudden you start to get a following. And in the beginning, I used to only think it was people who commented that were really paying attention. No, people watch the videos and it draws them in. And then eventually they get to a point of, hey, I think I might be interested. Then when you have a meeting with them, talk to them about their business, how to help them, give them suggestions, talk to them in a genuine manner as if you would if they were already in the company. And then at some point they're going to say, all right, I got to understand what you guys have here. Can you go over it with me? Then you do that. I used to do it in reverse. And that was a big game changer for us. And now we have a team of people doing it, and we're constantly reviewing our goals and improving, and we're not perfect, but we're getting better and better.
Well, and you're having tremendous, like, wild success with this system. And I used to recruit by training, offering free training and coaching, and then people were like, wow, you do this at your company, and it opens this whole new value that they didn't even know they needed, and they're like, this is unbelievable, and they want more. And you just said that, then suddenly they're like, hey, I want to talk to you about coming. After two, they see your agents are so happy. Dava, tell us about your recruiting plans. Do you look at goals? Do you set goals with your managers? How do you do this?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I agree wholeheartedly with Anthony, like really no data dumping once you have someone there, really understanding what they're looking for and understanding their needs. And maybe you have it, and if you don't, then, and I'm happy to say it, I don't have low fees. That's not something that we offer if we're not a fit. I think for us, we definitely are more in the process of building relationships. We don't have sort of like set dial time or anything like that. It's more of a slow process. I think being an agent myself years ago, when people would call, sometimes it's uncomfortable, sometimes it's disrespectful to the other broker owners. So, to try to do it at a slower pace. But don't get me wrong, we're strategically recruiting in everything that we do. Every initiative that we have, we make sure we look at it through the lens of a recruit. How are we going to get this in front of the right people? So like this Hops for Habitat thing, making sure that's on the bottom of every e-blast that goes out to every agent in our state. And so they start, what is that? What is Reports I doing now? And we get those questions, and it starts those dialogues. And of course we do, remarketing on social media, and we're very careful to make sure that we're showing up in all the right places. For the agents, every time we have a new hire, we really make a big deal. We have a public relations company on retainer, so we can really get these new agents like as much exposure as possible, which just the other agents see that and they're like, wow, what's going on over there? So it's a different, it's not something that I can say I sit down for a power hour. It's more of everything that we do is through that lens of how can that attract more people to us.
Yeah, and it is 100%, I believe, relationship building. It's not going to happen overnight, and anybody who tries to just, I was consulting with a company, and it was, we hear a lot, I have the best commission plan. Well, okay, but not everybody is joining you based on that. They want more. They want the rest of why you're so great. And it's like, that's the part that I think, because if everybody just wanted the money, right, they would go to the place that gave the most money. And you're not building those types of organizations. You're building relationships with people that are mutually beneficial, where they know they can't succeed without you, and you can't succeed without the agents that are part of your team. Carolyn, please add to this. I know you're going to, and I'm going to advance the slide just one, because there's some more conversation about this topic in our next slide as well. So go ahead.
You bet. So
you attract a lot of top agents on purpose. I know you do this very strategically. So share with us about that.
Absolutely. So Sherri, as a team, our sales leaders all have recruiting goals, both for new and experienced agents. One of the best things that I think we did for our team is they each have an accountability partner, and they touch base with each other each week and record results. And the activity is important. So, the contacts, the phone calls, the personal contact with new and experienced agents. On experienced agents, Sherri, it is so much about relationships. And one of the things that has proven to be very successful for me personally is your experienced recruiting list is very small. And why is that? That's so that you can have a very deep relationship with that small group that you are really wanting to recruit to your company. It's all about relationships. One of the things that has been very impactful for me in the way that I have been able to attract the talent of some highly productive agents is really you talk to them about how you are going to help them have a better quality of life. I find that top producing agents are working themselves crazy, and they just want a partner who will lock arms with them and say, listen, Anthony, I know you're successful and that success will continue, but guess what? I'm going to help you have a better quality of life. You're going to be able to have more time with your family. You're going to be able to have more time to take vacation. As we know, these agents, it's really what they're craving. These top producing agents, they're craving somebody to help them with the work-life balance, right? On a new agent, the most critical thing you can do for them is help launch their career as quickly as possible. They want to know, what do I do? How do I do it? And, you know, give them the tools necessary. This is the tool, ladies and gentlemen. It's your telephone. Right now, it's all about making contact with people. And so our sales leaders, I'm so proud of, because they are committed. It's, as I said, one of our wildly important goals. Be intentional about recruiting, but on your experienced agents, it's really about relationships. So accountability calls. I have an accountability call with each of my sales leaders twice a month. One is as a team, one is one-on-one with the sales leaders. Melinda does the same thing. I have a partner who has the other region, Melinda Howell, and she does the same process with her sales leaders. But we're all committed to helping one another. And on experienced agents, we offer our assistance, as does our CEO, Chris Kelly. We're there, we're in the trenches with the sales leaders to help them recruit and do what they need help with. So it's an exciting thing. Personally, it's one of my very favorite things, is to help an experienced, highly productive agent learn how you can help them continue their success. And really, most of the time, their career, their numbers go way up when they partner with you, and you can help them to see the quality of life is so important.
And they're willing to pay for it. They're willing to pay for it. These people are not cheap people. Their top agents are smart business people. And if your split is maybe a little tougher than someone else, or maybe you have some services that you sell for small amounts of money, they will pay all day long for that if it improves the quality of their life. Our top agent this year is going to sell 50 million. And she, 4 years ago, got an offer to go to another company for 100% commission for 5 years. In writing, she had the offer. She showed it to me. She came to our company at nowhere near 100%. And she always says the best thing she ever did was come to our company because she has a life again.
Anthony, you are so right. The highly experienced agents know that they have to invest in their business, and they are absolutely willing to do that. So I agree. Thank you for adding that. That's so important.
Price is only an issue in the absence of value.
That's right. And amen to working smarter and not harder and giving people what they deserve. The goal is not to have burnt out syndrome. It is to, they're unhealthy physically. It's taxing on their families. I love when people put on their business plan and goals that they want to spend more time with their kids or go on more vacations, like you said, Carolyn. And no one's ever done that arm in arm with them, and just to offer that and help them with their expenses. Sometimes, I remember sitting with a top agent, and in 20 minutes, I cut his expenses by 30%. Okay, in a 20-minute phone call, a 20-minute meeting rather. And, he was like, where did you come from? Like, no one's ever done this for me before. And that's the kind of real value that you can offer to people. I loved this segment. This is just, my gosh, we could do a whole thing on recruiting, and I think we should on another day. Thank you all. That was awesome. And I'm getting great, comments as well. And I'll get to some of these questions about CRMs in a moment. So we talked about driving sales and coaching your agents up? You know, how do we take the people we already have, and not everybody wants to increase, but some of those people maybe in the second, third, and fourth quartiles of your roster may want to grow their business in 2021. And if they aren't coming to you necessarily to say, Carolyn, Dava, or Anthony, I want to grow, because they don't even know their true potential. I think Dava brought that up. It's like, how are you as leaders of your companies, and really the ultimate leaders at that, how are you getting their attention to say to them, let me make a difference in your business. Let's put you in is it a program? Is it, I know, Anthony, you've got a program that you have, coaching program. How do you make a difference and create real value, both in coaching your agents and, as Carolyn said earlier, providing content that actually helps get those agents out there selling and listing? And one thing on sales meetings, I know for myself, I was able to grow a whole region of 750 agents by, from 600 million to 1.7 billion dollars in 4 years. And I did that through having weekly sales-driven sales meetings. I mean, the sales meeting was the best networking event of the week. I called it that. When I called it that, they called it that. They wouldn't miss it for the world, because they were afraid they were going to miss a listing or miss a new announcement of a new listing to show. They were going to miss some key training piece that was going to be helpful for their businesses. So how do you, what's your makeup of sales meetings? I know we're virtual right now, but how do you use that, both coaching or a sales meeting, to help drive the sales? Is it through accountability, leadership boards, leader boards in your offices? Tell us what you do. And Dava, I'll start with you.
Okay, I think that we might have a unique way that we do things here in Maine. Yes, we have monthly sales meetings for everyone, and we try to bring as much, obviously, value and keep them engaged for the entire time. What I found to be hugely successful, though, and I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit, but having these agent groups, we have a group that's called Next Gen. It's our agents that are 35 and under. They meet every other Thursday at 11 o'clock, like friggin' clockwork. They have their own little, community. They have their own Facebook page. They have their own group email, and they strategize about, what does this look like for us as people age out? And so it just brings them, they're engaged and they're excited and they're driving it from themselves. Like, I can say a bunch of stuff and I'm a pretty motivating person, but we need to bring it out in them. And at the same time, we have an advisory board, and that's our senior leaders that we're talking about other things, for them, and how to grow teams and all of that. I think too, how, the question is, how do we get these people to the next level and reach their potential? And I think we have to build their confidence, because they all have it in them already, or they would not sign up for 100% commission. They have made that bold statement that they want to do this. And for us, the tough part about having minimum standards is the phone calls that we have to make that are like, hey, we have all the tools and everything, but you're not using them. And sometimes those conversations, are just what they need to know. Someone loves them, someone's listening to them, someone's getting, like, what is it like being a parent right now and homeschooling? I know that's really tough, but let's go back to where your goals were and how can we help you get there? And a lot of it is fear-based, and they're just like, I just didn't think I could do it. And once we get over that, sky's the limit. And that's one of the things that, we're most proud here, is having people really reach what they're meant to reach and what's inside of them, and keep pushing. People tell me all the time, like, you're gentle, but you're so tough. Like, I will, if you come to talk to me, you're going to get pushed, because I know you can do it.
That is awesome. And you know what? It's for the ones who want it too. Not everybody's trying to jump 300%, but for the ones who want it, we have it for you. And I love this Next Gen group. It's like the future of your office. This is the future of your business right there. This is the future of your, you've got the other group at the advisory board, which appeals to the people who built the office, who've been around a long time, or sort of the legacy, if you will. Outstanding. I love it. I love everything you just said. I think we all are smiling in agreement. Carolyn, talk to us about coaching up agents and driving through the sales meetings.
So Sherri, the first thing that comes to mind is in October, we started business planning with our agents. And let's just say, as leaders, business planning is the most critical time you have with your agents. And it looks different with different offices, with different groups of people. I find it incredibly compelling and exciting to do a group business planning. That's what I've done for the last several years. And I did it again this year, of course, via Zoom. But many times you can help an agent by helping them, for instance, maybe their goal, yes, they want to do more business, but what does that look like? I mean, perhaps they had 30 closings and they say, gosh, Carolyn, you know, I don't know how I could do more than that. And we look at how many buyers, how many listings. Well, you were really low on listings. So how about we focus on some listing inventory this year? The other thing is average sales price, your your source of business. What was your source of business? Let's look at the source of business. So business planning, I find, is one of the most critical pieces of an agent's plan going forward. Everyone needs a written business plan. So we started in October. We have a fillable format that goes out to our agents to prepare for those sessions. I give them their last 2 years of a program and their last year's business plan to help them to see, okay, how did I do? What was my plan? Did I meet the plan? Did I exceed the plan? If I didn't, what happened? What were my activities? And so really, we talk a lot to our agent, Sherri, about activity, because if you just sit behind the computer and answer email, that's not a high activity item for you to be working on. You need to be calling people. You need to be looking at the database to see where, who have I not touched base with in a while? Who are my sales last year? I need to reach out to them, see how they're doing. So I would say business planning, critically important. And then we use the twice a month coaching sessions in my office with a smaller group, very important. And then 2 sales meetings a month. Communication is important. Recognition is important. Recognition is free, y'all. So recognize your agents often and loud and proud. We absolutely do that. The agents want to know who's successful and who can I follow. Like many of our agents are having their best year ever. As a company, in 1 month, we hit a record. We did $1 billion in sales in 1 month, the month of July. So the people who are using this time as an excuse instead of a reason to be successful, they need a little bit of help, because there's never been a better time to be in the business. So I hope that answers. Business planning is very high on my list of priorities as a leader.
You said so much. I mean, both you and Dava together, I sources of business, increasing agents' average sale price, looking at how many listings you had versus sales, fine tuning, and Dava, you said it's like people don't know what's holding them back and that they can do more and not work crazily and not have to hire an assistant. And you're making a difference with all of those people, both of you. So Anthony, I can't thank you both. And Anthony, tell us about how you coach agents and how you drive your productivity in your offices.
Well, one of the things that I learned many years ago is training matters, and it matters a lot, and it helps. Obviously, the newer agents are more attracted to it, but the better you make your training, before you know it, you'll even have your top agents in the room. And I think Carolyn alluded to that earlier about the content matters. So what we did, you keep saying coaching program, but we have a training program, and the training program that we use here in the company and the one that we offer nationally to customers all over North America It teaches agents what to do step by step by step. You get a lead. What do you do? Whether it's a lead from a family member, a friend of a friend selling, or it's an online lead. What do you do? How do you reach them on the phone? When you get them on the phone, what do you say? When you book a listing appointment, do you just be like every realtor and say, okay, yeah, see you there Friday at 3 and not do anything else? No, we teach them step by step what to do. Send a confirmation email, send a calendar invitation, send this home seller's kit in the mail so that people receive something tangible in the mail before the listing appointment. On and on and on. I can keep going. When you get to the listing appointment, what do you do? Step by step by step. Don't talk commission. Don't talk pricing in the beginning of the appointment. Leave that for the end of the appointment. We teach them tactically each and every step that they should take throughout everything. And I will tell you, they love it. Humans love to get direction. And when you can explain it to them in a very simple manner, I just did about 2 hours of training in 38 seconds there. When you can explain it to them in a simplistic manner, which steps to take and which ones to take first, second, third, fourth, they eat it up, they keep showing up, and then you watch their businesses do this. And what I learned in the years of 2012 and 2013 is the more we had training, the more our agents' businesses grew, and then the more we grew. And that's how it all started and snowballed, and now we offer it everywhere.
I love it. I love it. And you are so right. They want to be told how to do it. And here's what's awesome. You will get seasoned agents and top producers because they'll see the results that are happening with those other agents, right? And they're like, what's going on in there? And they start showing up. And next thing you know, you have $30 million agents sitting in your coaching and your training. Because they're like, I'm teachable,
yeah.
I remain teachable. This business is ongoing. You never learn everything. I mean, we learn every day. And you're doing that step by step. I couldn't have scripted this whole segment better because each of you added like every piece of it. It's outstanding. It really is. I'm going to go to our next one. I just want a quick answer. I know this is going to be tough for us. Because we all have probably more than one thing to share. But I would like to ask you for the best advice you can give to brokers and managers that are listening right now, the broker owners that are on here. We are going a little bit over. I'm so sorry, Lori, and others who may have to get off. We are recording this, so if you have to go to an appointment, please know you'll get the rest of this on a playback. We're going to go a couple minutes, probably 5 minutes only. The best advice each of you can very succinctly and quickly give for people to stop doing, okay, that's helping, that's actually impeding on their success, and what they can start doing to start creating some dramatic growth in their offices. So I think we discussed this the other day, and who was supposed to go first? I think Anthony, yes. Okay,
I think
it was Anthony. I wanted to be sure. So take it away, my friend.
Stop being lazy. It's true. It's true. I couldn't believe my competitors just essentially, they may have done this during COVID. They may as well have said, go ahead, Anthony, take the entire stage away from us. Get out there, do things. Look, Dave is making welcome packages and all these fancy things. Get out and do things. You know, you can't, if you sit back and you let the world go by, the world will go by. Should I tell you how I really feel?
Well, and I think, no, it's exactly, you know, what happens is inaction, right? Inaction is like sitting around and waiting to see what our agents did. How do we do this month? Versus looking in the front window and saying, where are we going? And we're going there. And I think that is a mindset shift. And all the consulting and coaching I do, it's a mind shift from being a desk manager, right? And waiting for agents to come to you with their transactional problems versus being a sales leader and a sales driven manager. And so whenever I speak at events, I'll say, how many of you managers and broker owners, if you were to go back into sales, how many of you would be top agents? you know, and people, you three would have your hand up, right? Immediately. Carolyn, you've seen me do this. And it's like the managers who are like, oh, I don't know. It's like, okay, we need sales leadership, and you can have admins. Carolyn, I know you have an office man. I was so impressed. She said, I'm the sales manager. I'm at her office physically in Texas. I'm the sales manager and I have an office manager, and all she does is handle all the admin. And I was like, amen, right? So Anthony, you're 100% right. You know, we have to be active. They follow us. If your office is not succeeding or growing or is stale or is going backwards, it's time to look at either maybe I don't want to be a manager anymore, or I need to get some new training so that I can infuse that energy and momentum into everybody. David, you were next, and tell us what your advice is, because you have great advice on this.
Sure. I think if you stop being lazy and then you stop having limiting beliefs of how great you are, you know, sky's the limit. And I think, and I'm speaking to, you know, especially to women listening on here, for some reason, we think that this is where we can go. And we need to just break that glass ceiling and really go for it. I mean, you know, I'm here, you know, Anthony's a $1 billion company. I'm like, well, I'm going to do that too. There's no reason why I can't. And I think, you know, once leaders really just give themselves permission to be great, they'll be great. But it doesn't come without, you have to not be lazy. I mean, you got to put the work in, but you also have, like what you said, Sherri, you have to have that mindset. And I think what they can start doing is being grateful. You know, if we start our day truly grateful that we get to work in real estate, this is by far the best industry with so much opportunity for everyone. And we start with that mindset, you know, your day is going to be amazing and your life is going to be amazing. So I think we have to pause and continue to be grateful every day.
I love it. Stop the limited belief. And that's what I'm taking away, is there's so much more. We can do so much more, and we are holding ourselves back. I mean, what would we do if we knew we couldn't fail? Right? I mean, if we could just harness that, and we need leaders to bring that out. You know, coaching isn't making people great. It's bringing out the greatness that already exists, you know, and that's what you're all doing. Carolyn.
Okay, Sherri, I encourage our audience to stop coming up with reasons why something will not work, and to start using some of the ideas that you've heard today or in days past. Just start doing it.
Well, and can I add one thing and then I'll shut up?
Of course.
What she said is 1,000% right. Okay, but here's my attitude to add on top of that. Who cares if you fail? You try an idea, it doesn't work. Okay, great, go to the next one. We have failed at way more things in our organization than we've been successful. But the one we've been successful, it makes up for it tenfold.
That's right. You fail forward and you try things and you keep an open mind. And Carolyn, you know, I often say, and what you've said is exactly right. Sometimes everyone's first reaction is, that won't work with my office.
Endlessly.
And I say, well, you're the first person who didn't believe in it, you know? And even in I roll, you know, I say to managers, body language is 55% of communication. And so an I roll of saying, oh, look what they want us to do now. Even the word they is negative. So, you know, it can be like they versus us. So it's all about being bought into it. You know, enthusiasm at the end of that, it says, I am already sold myself, ISM, right? I am already sold myself on this. And positivity and saying, I'm going to try that. And what you then said was, put this stuff into action. We heard so many awesome things today, and it's not going to happen overnight. Make a list, but put it into action, because again, when we hear these things, it too much time passes, right? And then we think, well, we can't do that thing. Have lists and implement them and prioritize. Do business planning, like Carolyn just said. Put training programs together. Do flash Zooms, like Davis said. So between everybody here, you've all hopefully gotten a lot of great ideas to help grow your offices, whether you have one office or whether you're trying to have 3 or 4, or you have 15 offices or 30 offices. Today's panel discussion was absolutely outstanding. So, and what I love is we all participate here and we all walk away having learned more from each other. So that has been really, really fantastic. And I'm going to just add a few slides here. When I think about growing on purpose, and looking at you're literally looking at your roster. So I've got a sample roster up here of, agents divided into 4 groups, really: quartile coaching, and how can I grow the middle of my operation? And really, in a lot of cases, that's where, for some of us, and in different companies have different comp plans and models. And, if you're running and you're looking at increasing your average retained company dollar, okay, and you grow the second and third and fourth quartile agents, you're going to grow that middle, so you have more people doing more. And again, it's only the ones that want to grow, but do quartile coaching. Be purposeful. Go after those agents and say, hey, you haven't been here for a while. It's a lot easier to re-recruit the people in your fourth quartile that you haven't seen in a while by having a quick conversation with them and saying, come into the office, have a Zoom call with me. Let's get you out of that part-time job. And you can be, an active agent here. You can re-recruit these people. They already have a license, right? We have to wait for them to go through licensing. Some of those people are going to hug you and thank you that you got them re-engaged. I know for me, I did that with a group of people. I was told to let them all go, and I called them all, and more than half came back to the office, and they're producing $8 million and $10 million now. You know what I mean? And they're thriving realtors. Again, looking at top line revenue, how do we on purpose look at next year and say, I'm going to bring in X dollars in recruiting new and experienced agents. I'm also going to grow my operation on purpose, and that looks like $200,000 or $500,000, whatever it is, right? And that those two numbers together, less anything that you lose, you're going to have some terms, maybe hopefully less than 10%. And then your net gain is going to be, how much did you actually grow your operation? And I promise you, if you do this, you'll love the results. You really will. I always say success is contagious, and what you all have done today has just provided so much. I'm so excited. I can't wait to go speak to agents. I can't wait to speak to managers right now. And some of our questions we had, and lots of really amazing thank yous here. Great, excellent panel, great panel discussion. I mean, everybody is just saying great content. Would Dava be willing to share? I think they want to know what your flash training sessions are, and maybe we can add that to the playback, what those topics are. In addition, let me get my mouse here. A couple questions were about CRMs. And I think, Anthony, you said you're using a version of Salesforce that you modified for recruiting. Is that right?
We custom built our own CRM on the Salesforce platform. It's
Okay.
no small endeavor.
That is a huge task. Dava, Carolyn, do you have comments on CRMs?
We use the MoxieWorks platform we have the whole suite of services, so it's all integrated.
We also use MoxieWorks.
Excellent, excellent, and that's what I'm using as well, MoxieWorks. There's so much out of today's discussion. If anybody has any other questions before we part, I do want to comment that our sponsors today for this outstanding broker panel webinar, our sponsor is Social from RISMedia. This platform is a social media solution that is the most affordable and the most robust of its kind on the marketplace. All of us are using it, I believe. I know that we offer it in our coaching program. We believe in it so much. And the program has a free 14-day trial. We also have, I know that RISMedia can create enterprise accounts for companies who want to provide this to all of their agents. And it's so affordable, and it will actually create automated industry expert written content by the editorial staff at RISMedia. It doesn't get any better than that. Daily posts that your agents don't have to write, and it goes out every day automatically. It will also market your agent's listing inventory automatically on a daily basis as well. You can't find this anywhere else. It really is a one of a kind. And again, the price point is so amazing. It's literally for an agent, if they prepay the whole year, I think it's $400 and some dollars. It's $50 a month, or they can prepay with a discount. There's a link here in the slide deck, and you can go literally to rismedia.com and check that out. But they have brought today's webinar to made it possible today. So I wanted to comment and share just really what a great program this is, and a solution for agents that's easy and they don't have to do anything. And it's really an engagement for followers and social media marketing that's unbelievable. Lastly, I just want to comment that I really appreciate all of you. I couldn't have facilitated this discussion without all of your awesome contribution and willingness to share, because that's what I think RISmedia does for us. Is they've always been the industry leader in bringing experts together from all sizes, all brands, all vendors from everywhere, and we just come together and we provide great value to each other. So I'm grateful for being affiliated and also a moderator for this webinar series that we're doing every month. Sherri Johnson Coaching offers solutions and strategies for actually agents and broker owners. We have an unbelievable broker management consulting program that will increase revenue, increase profit, increase your recruiting results, and grow your company with dramatic results. So I'm excited. If you're interested, you can schedule a 30-minute business consultation strategy session with me directly. If it goes over an hour, I'm fine with that. I'm here to help you. We'll talk about what's working, what's not working with your company, and where you want to take it. And in those 30 or 50 minutes, if I can give you some free coaching and free strategies, I will. If you're interested in any of our programs, I'd be happy to share what those look like as well, based on any size and scope. But really, I'm just so grateful that all of you shared your time, your talent, your successes with everybody, and you were part of today's, I believe, greatest mastermind group we just put together, because this was like unbelievable. So Carolyn, Anthony, Dava, thank you. Thank you for just a powerhouse event. This was unbelievable. So I'm glad we recorded it, and I hope you'll join me again, because I will have you back for sure.
Thank you very much for having me.
So much. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Anthony. You all are amazing. It's such a pleasure.
It was my pleasure, and I took tons of notes. Sherri, you're awesome. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Thank you. And I want to wish everyone a very safe and wonderful Thanksgiving this week, and stay safe, stay healthy, and stay in the game, and let's make 2021 our best year yet, even better than this year. So thanks again, guys. I'll see you all soon. And I want to thank Peter and Brett from RISmedia, and we'll see all of you on our next webinar next month. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.